Y'all, this one plant has brought so much joy to the garden. From one sunflower seed that my daughter planted, we've gotten all these blooms. I didn't know sunflowers could bloom this many times. It's awesome. Now it's time to read. Hey y'all, welcome to the family that reads a lot. We've still been reading a lot. So I have 5 books, back to my standard 5 today. Going to start with somewhat of a plea for help, I think. It might not be that dramatic, but it feels that dramatic. I cannot find my summer read. Normally over the summer, I find a series that I really like, or at least a few novels that I really like. In the adult fiction, could be mystery, could be suspense, whatever, that genre. And I am struggling this year. I have read multiple books that I have DNF'd or I have flipped through or something, and this is another one of them. So I picked this book up. I'd seen it on some lists, some grab your summer read kind of thing from the bookstore. It's Bad Summer People by Emma Rosenblum. It's a smallish book. I thought it would be a quick read. It's 260 pages. So thought, okay, I'll pick it up. It's supposed to be about people who go to the shore for the summer and that there's all these secrets. And I was thinking, okay, this could be interesting. This could be fun. Thought it would be kind of funny. It says stylish, subversive, and darkly comedic. This is a story of what's lurking under the surface of picture-perfect lives. Basically, there's this town up on the northern coast that all of these rich people go to, and they have been going there since many of them were younger. It's like the richy rich people, right? So they own these magnificent beach homes and all this kind of stuff. But all the people in this book are literally horrible people. They cheat, they lie, they kill. Like, there is not a good person in this entire book. And while that can be funny and somewhat interesting, at first I was kind of sucked in because I was like, oh, okay, I want to know the backstory of this one and that one, and why are this one and that one doing whatever they're doing and all of this kind of stuff. But by the middle of the book, like, I don't even like these people anymore. They are horrible, horrible people. And it's really hard to get to the end of a book and root for somebody, like want somebody to end up in a good spot, because you just can't. So I got to page 178 and I finally flipped to the back and figured out what happened, because I was so frustrated with all of these people and how terrible they all were to each other, their spouses, their children, everybody. So, Bad Summer People was a bad summer read. I did not enjoy it. It just, yeah, no. And it wasn't like funny, like you're like, oh, ha ha ha, that's so funny, and laughing at people's ridiculousness. No, there was not that kind of funny in it, because then I would have been okay. So anyway, if you have a summer read, please put it in the comments, because I need a decent summer read that I'm going to get to, because I'm running out of summer and I really want something fun, happy, light, beachy, maybe. Anyway, could always use the help. Okay, so now we'll get into the books for my kiddos. 11-year-old boy, middle grade reader. 8-year-old girl, middle grade and upper elementary reader. So like always, that's mostly what I do here, is talk about books for them. Every now and then I talk about books for me. So we'll jump into it. The first book, on the last video, I didn't have a book for my daughter because this was what she was reading. This is Bliss, a Bliss bakery story by Kathryn Littlewood. seen this highly recommended as well. Sorry for the jingles. The puppy dogs are walking around in the background. One thing to note, the book cover for this is very different than it is for the, not model, but the edition you will get now. It has like the front of a bakery on it. This is just I think it's actually a UK edition because I bought it off Thrift Books. The book's still the same, but the cover's different. So, let me grab my notes super fast. Okay, so my daughter rated this 5 stars. She said that there is the normal like middle grade stuff in it. The kids lie a little bit, but eventually the parents figure it out. They come clean. There's the bad guy of the book is she says that she's like an aunt or something, that she's a member of the family. Well, it's kind of the bad side of the family, if that makes any sense. I listen to her read this sometimes like at night, or every now and then she'll want to read out loud to me, stuff like that, so I kind of know what's going on. The only thing that I read that I was like, okay, was basically, if you've ever seen Just Add Magic, this is a lot like that. They're cooking, and whatever they cook has magic qualities. So, but at one point they cook something and all the girls in town fall in love with the one brother, and they're like falling head over heels for him and stuff like this. So that I was kind of like, okay, but it was nothing terrible. The parents are taken out of the picture by having to go and help the town do something, so they're not around. So obviously that leads to the kids being able to get into some chaos. But overall, she said it was a really good book. It does end on a cliffhanger, so you really have to read the second book to figure out what happens. So that was the only thing that she said, was like, you get an ending, but not an ending. But this was a big book for her. This was over 300 pages, and it took her a while to get through it. Like, there's no illustrations, there's nothing like that. It's fairly small font. She did enjoy it. Some of the vocabulary in here was a little heavier, but overall she did enjoy it. It was just a little more challenging for her. So I would definitely say this is a solid middle grades book, not necessarily like an upper elementary style book, just because of the length, heaviness of the book, not toward the content. Okay, so the next one was actually a school assigned book that my son didn't finish up at the end of school, so he had to finish it up. This is part of his literature program that he does in homeschool through The Good and the Beautiful. This book is called Captured Words by Frances Williams Brown. So this was part of his language arts. We finished, I don't know, a bit ago, but I had him go ahead and finish up the book. He said that this was a really interesting book. He gave it 5 stars because it is a true story. It is about a girl helping her father write down the Native American language. I believe it's Cherokee, but I'm not sure. But trying to transcribe a spoken only language into a written language. And he said this one was really interesting and really good because he didn't know anything about that. And so basically they use, I believe, American or English alphabet, but the letters have different sounds, and that's how they transcribe it. So he found this really, really interesting. I don't know if you can get this anywhere but The Good and the Beautiful. A lot of times they do reprints of books that have gone out of print, so I'm not sure, but he said that he enjoyed it not just on a school level, but on a just interesting level. One more for him and one more for my daughter. This is Northwind by Gary Paulsen, so another Gary Paulsen for him. It's the Gary Paulsen summer, I suppose. He's been picking these up every time we go to the library, go anywhere. Basically, this is another like kid stuck in the wilderness thing. So this boy is living in a fish camp in Alaska, and the whole fish camp comes down with a sickness and dies. And so he lives, but he's on his own. So he gets in his canoe and has to travel down this river and things, and comes across a lot of perils. My son rated this one a 5-star, no surprise, because he loves these books. He said that the boy comes up against things like bears, whales, whirlpools. I think because we are a big water family, so he has a kayak, we go out on the lake, stuff like this. So I think this book was even more interesting to him just because of that aspect, that it was much based on the water. So another one he really enjoyed, figured he would, Gary Paulsen. Okay, last one. This is one I pre-read for my daughter. It's called The Girl Who Sailed the Stars by Matilda Woods. This was a really good book. I enjoyed this book a lot. I did not think that I would in the very beginning, because of like the age that it's set for. I was thinking, oh, I'm just pre-reading this for her. No, I really enjoyed this book. The girl is 11, I believe. Basically, there's a prophecy that her parents are finally going to have a boy after having a ton of girls. And it turns out the prophecy was wrong because she's a girl. And they treat her terrible in the beginning of this book. So there is that. Think of the Dursleys, but like multiplied, like bad. So she has to go up against that. She ends up sneaking onto her dad's ship, which is forbidden because it's forbidden for girls to go out on ships. And it's her adventure there, and she finally finds happiness there. And not, believe it or not, not in ways that you would think. I don't want to spoil too much because I really think this book is worth the read. It's fairly short. It's got some really cool, like, I don't know if you'd call these illustrations because they're not pictures of what's happening in the book. You just have like fish and the ship wheels and things like this in the margin. They're more like margin illustrations. On pretty much every page, there's like octopuses and different things. There are a few actual illustrations, but that wasn't like the main thing. It was just an addition. Like I said, in addition to what I thought was a really good book. I'm highly going to recommend this to my daughter to read. I don't know that my son would be interested in it. If he wants to read it, he's got the opportunity, but I definitely think this is more up my daughter's alley. Really strong female character, really strong character building. It shows her becoming who she will be and overcoming a ton to get there. It's got some really interesting characters in it. I don't think there was too much in here. Like, there was nothing major that I marked and I was like, wow, I didn't like that. So no big content issues. Just a really interesting book. So all in all, 5 books. Some that we really, really enjoyed. One for me that I really, really did not. So same thing, if you like what we're doing here, please give me a like. If you want to keep getting pre-read type style for middle grade so that you don't have to pre-read for your middle grader, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That would help me out. I'm constantly going to be coming out with these pre-read type videos where I've read something that I'm going to tell you if there's content issues, if there's anything that you need to watch for, stuff like that. And then just good books in general, because I love a good middle grade book. I think that they are definitely not just for kids. Definitely something that I enjoy reading. So from the family that reads a lot, hope y'all go read a lot too. Thanks.